Hi everyone and welcome back to the Kins Clay channel. Today we've got quite a few orders to pack. I had a crystal dragon drop this weekend. I'll put in a video of all the dragons that were included, and because of that we've had a few orders, so today is when I'm going to be packing them up and sending them off. But like 2 days ago I also asked you guys if you had any questions for me so I could do like a Q&A video. I've done one of these before but I'm going to do it again while I pack these. So yeah, I'm going to be answering your questions while I pack these. I probably should have asked for questions a little bit earlier and given more time for more questions, but we got quite a few questions anyway, so it'll be fine. I've got everything that needs packing up here, so as you can see there is quite a bit to get through, and it's 6 orders in total. I'm sorry if the lighting isn't great in this video. In my room where my packing desk is, there's only the one window up there because it's the loft, so the lighting isn't great. Just pretend it's good, I guess. But anyway, let's get back in and I'll start answering some of these questions. This is the first order. So she got a £5 mystery bag and a crystal dragon notebook, and she also got this adorable Caribbean calcite mushroom dragon and a dragon jewellery / trinket dish. So I think this is such a cute order. And in the £5 mystery bag, we've got a glow-in-the-dark ghost bottle. I really love these. These are one of the first things that I made, I think, or at least it was a long time ago, but I love them. And also this little strawberry flower keychain. So I'm going to bubble wrap these and put them back in the bag. I'm going to have to get a big box out for all of this as well. Okay, there are actually quite a few more questions than I expected. The first one is, how long did it take you to be able to do this full time? Well, I started doing this at the beginning of 2022, so more than 3 years ago now, which is crazy. Back then I was just selling on Etsy, and I was mainly selling my littler stuff like the Lucky Dip octopus, the ghost bottles and stuff like that. And my Lucky Dips did really well on Etsy. That's like the first thing that kind of like did really well. Also, these were one of the first things that I made, and these did really well too on Etsy. And my worry stones as well. When I made the worry stones, I posted a picture of them on Pinterest. I'll put up the photo. And I didn't even realize, because I don't go on Pinterest, but that got so many views and likes and stuff. And I've seen that same picture used in different people's TikToks and stuff as like examples of stuff to make. So yeah, I was doing that on Etsy for a while. I'm not going to go into the whole story, or we'll be here all day, and I've told it before, but I was studying media makeup in college. I'll put up some photos of like the art that I was doing, but I ended up hating makeup because I ended up not being able to do the makeup that I wanted, and I was stuck working in a salon because there was not really any room to do the kind of arty makeup that I love to do. So I kept doing this on Etsy and also going to uni at the same time, and then I left uni because I was just sick of it, and because I had the qualifications I was working in a salon, and I realised I absolutely hated it and wanted nothing to do with that kind of makeup. And because of that I just left and thought, I'm just going to put everything into this, because I realised that this is what I really wanted to do. I wanted to run my own handmade business, and I'd done it for a little while, so I kind of knew what to expect, and I was in a good position. I know a lot of people wouldn't have been able to do what I did, but I didn't really have any massive expenses that I needed to pay or anything like that. So I kind of just took the risk of being like, I'm just going to leave my job and I'm going to just focus on this. And back then I was still on Etsy. I just love this sound. It's so satisfying. I've just realised I have my mic on, so you probably didn't hear that. Oh well, anyway. So yeah, long story short, I had like probably over 1,000 sales on Etsy at that time anyway. I wasn't making enough to live on full time, but like I said, it wasn't too much of a big risk for me because I was still living at home, and I knew that I'd be okay and I could get another job if I needed to. So I just thought, why not just try it? And I tried it, and it ended up going really well, obviously. And when I decided to do this full time was October 2023. So yeah, that's over a year ago now, which is crazy. Not even just over a year ago, it'll be 2 years in 6 months. But yeah, I know that a lot of people want to do that arty stuff full time, and they ask me like how I was able to do it. And I guess it's just kind of different for everyone and what situation you're in, because yeah, like I said, I was lucky enough to take the risk and be able to just do it and not really worry about it. But I know that for a lot of other people that's obviously not the case. But just doing it full time was what really helped me to grow it. And obviously I left Etsy, which was the best decision, and made my own website and stuff, which was pretty recently, to be fair. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to keep going on about this. Okay, I need a big box for this. The second half of that question was, how did you get noticed? And I guess I kind of covered it, but I think it was just through luck and through how much Etsy pushes out stuff and how much people see it. But yeah, like I said, altogether, I ended up with over 1,000 sales on Etsy. I could go into so much detail on why I left Etsy and why I don't think it's great, but it was partly through that. And obviously I included my Instagram and everything because I wasn't doing YouTube at that time, and all of the thank you cards that went into orders and stuff. So obviously I get some followers from there, and some of those people have followed me from Etsy to my website. And yeah, like I said, it was kind of just luck, I guess, with making a lot of different things and putting them all on Etsy. When stuff really started to kick off was when I left Etsy and started my website and started YouTube, because a lot of new people started to find me through my YouTube videos, and a lot of those people were in America. And now a lot, probably over half of my customers are in the US, which I can't believe still. But once I had my website, I started offering shipping to the US. And that's when stuff really started to grow for me, because I could reach so many more customers. So I think a big part of me getting noticed was YouTube. Obviously I have like TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that, but nothing has gone as well as YouTube has. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Another question was, did I get all of my supplies and tools at once, or did I get a little bit here and there? I'd say I bought most of the stuff straight away in the beginning, or at least the stuff I thought I'd need. Like I bought the eyes that I wanted to use for the sculptures. I only bought white clay in the beginning though and coloured it with acrylic paint, which is so much of a hassle, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. But yeah, I bought like a cheap pack of tools and like all of the basic stuff that you'd need really, and any other stuff that I found I needed later on, I just bought it when I figured out that I should probably get it. I didn't really have any packing stuff or anything in the beginning because I didn't really know if I'd get any orders, and then when I started to get a few, I bought a lot of better packing stuff. So yeah, I'd say if you're wanting to start out or learn polymer clay, not to spend a fortune on supplies and stuff. If you'd like me to do a video on like basic polymer clay supplies and what I'd recommend you get to start, let me know, because that could be quite a fun video idea if people wanted to see that. But anyway, this is order number 1 down and the biggest one done. Okay, the next order is for this beautiful pink and gold smelting quartz tower. I love this one. It was one of my favourites from the last drop. And she also got a crochet scrunchie. I love these, they're so soft. So we should be able to get this in a kind of small box. So we're gonna go for this size box because it should fit nice and snug in here. And I always stamp these boxes just because they have a space for it to go, whereas on all the other boxes there's like not really a space that would make sense to stamp. That's why I like using these boxes. So the next question is, what was your first ever dragon that you made? I actually have that right over there, so I'll go grab it. This is the first ever dragon that I made. I think he's actually kind of cute. It was the second thing that I ever attempted to sculpt. I don't know if you can see, but he's covered in like different pieces of like, I don't even know. I don't know how he's got like pink and green on him and stuff. Don't know what I got in it, but yeah, that's him. And he lives over here with all my crystals and trinkets. He like slots in there now underneath my like wooden / clay bowl situation, so I still love him. I just packed this order and answered questions and it wasn't filming, so that's great. But yeah, luckily that dragon fit in there pretty much perfectly with the scrunchie. And the question was, what is your favourite dragon you've ever made and what's your least favourite dragon you've ever made? In terms of favourite, at least recently, I would say this one. And this is definitely a contender for like all-time favourite. It probably is, to be fair. But it's a pink version of my water dragon and I just absolutely love it. We are packing this up today. In terms of least favourite, I really don't know. I'd say the ones that I made when I first started making crystal dragons weren't as detailed and some of them looked a little bit funny. Obviously because I was just starting to learn how to make them. So I would say that out of all of them, obviously they're not as good as the ones that I make now. But I don't have like a least favourite that sticks out. So this is order number 2 done. Speaking of this water dragon, this is the next one that we're packing up. So I'm going to get this in one of the nice square boxes because that should be just big enough. And the next question is, what is your favorite non-dragon creature to make? And I would probably say the little crystal owls. I've only made like 3 of them in total, but they are really fun to make. And I do like making the other like crystal creature sculptures that I did, like just the cows or horses. I did a bear once that I absolutely love. So sculpting anything kind of different and new I really love. But like favorite at the minute, I'd probably say the tiny little owls. I find them really satisfying to make for some reason. I was really surprised to see that this is the only order going to the US out of this batch of orders, because like I said, it's probably over half of my customers and my orders that I ship out that are going to the US usually, but all the other ones today are staying in the UK. So I'm not sure what's different today, but yeah, this is the little one that's going abroad. And the next question is, have you had any criticism / bad reviews, and if so, how do you deal with it? And I definitely have. It tended to happen a lot more on Etsy because I had like the star seller badge and stuff on there, and I think when people see that, you get pushed out quite a lot, and people can just order the stuff without really looking into your shop and what the shop is and like that the stuff's handmade. So it happened a few times where I'd get a bad review, like a 2-star review or something, because like the worry stones had a tiny bit of dust that got trapped in the glaze, which if you work with polymer clay, you'll know that it's nearly impossible to get every single little fleck of dust out of the clay. I do my best, but I think that's one of the reasons that Etsy is bad, because people will just see a like best-selling product, which is what my worry stones and my octopus were, and they'll just buy them and not look into the shop or care about the shop that's selling them, because they'll just think, oh, I got it off of Etsy, as though that's like one whole thing. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but yeah, people would then complain that it's got tiny imperfections in it, even though I stated in all the descriptions that they're handmade, they might have slight imperfections. That has happened a few times, a lot more in the past when I was on Etsy. Recently, I think my skills have improved along with moving away from Etsy. I don't get those kind of comments anymore because people that are buying from me, they know that everything's handmade and they actually read the descriptions and they know me and they know the shop. Does that make sense? I don't know. But yeah, dealing with those, you could reply to the reviews on Etsy and I'd state that like, it does say in the description that these are handmade and there could be tiny imperfections and stuff like that. And 5-star reviews on Etsy, if you don't know, are really important. If you get like a 4-star review, even though like to some people that'd seem fine, you get really knocked down on Etsy because of that, and it like ruins your stats with Etsy and being pushed out, if that makes sense. And one of the most annoying things about Etsy I'd find is somebody would order something, have no problems with it, like it'd be what they expected, and then they'd leave a review saying like, oh yeah, it was good, but only give it 4 stars because, well, I don't know why, but they would do that quite a lot and that ruins your ratings. That's not really a criticism or to do with that. I'm just saying that's another thing with Etsy reviews that's kind of annoying. Recently though, I'd say that I've had criticism and stuff like that more from being on social media a lot more, doing this and doing TikTok and stuff like that. People will comment stupid stuff sometimes, they always do. The more recent ones that I can think of, people will just kind of mock even my accent or like the things that I'm saying. Like somebody put crystal creatures as though it was like a stupid thing to say or something like that, you know what I mean? I don't know, people are weird. The main one that I can think of, I posted a video of my newer dragons compared to the first ever thing that I made, which was a frog. That video's at over 200,000 views now, which blew my mind. But somebody commented saying the frog is the best one out of all of them and that the rest of them look like 14-year-old furries would design or something. So didn't really know what to say to that one, to be honest. But yeah, creating content and stuff like that, it's gonna come with people that comment stupid stuff or that think stuff is cringy or whatever. I found it really funny, and I know that it won't end there, like I will end up getting worse comments than that. But yeah, they're only little things, and honestly I'm not bothered. Like, I have so many amazing customers and followers that genuinely care and show up for all my videos and stuff, so it doesn't matter to me that like a few people will make fun of me or whatever, because I know that I have everybody else that's in support. So yeah, whenever more stuff like that happens, I won't be bothered. But that is order number 3 down, 3 more to go, so we're halfway. This is the next order. We've got this adorable little blue lace agate bottle dragon and this amethyst tower one. This is a different position. I've never done one curled around the bottom of a tower before, but I think she's adorable. I'm gonna pack them in the same size box as the last one because both of them are quite small. Next question is, will you make more species of dragons to go along with the fairy, water and hatchling dragons? And if you don't know, I've recently started doing different variations or species of my crystal dragons. I just like the idea of kind of implementing lore and different species and stuff like that. So for example, this would be like the classic crystal dragon because it was the first one that I ever made with these wings. So yeah, I call those like the classic crystal dragons. These ones with the double horns and these different kind of style wings are my fairy dragons. And the pink one that you've just seen is a water dragon because it has a tail fin and a fin going down the back, and its wings are slightly different as well. And I also recently made hatchling dragons, which are these little ones inside of eggs. And I'm gonna say yes because I really want to. Right now, I haven't really thought about it or what other ones I could do, but I'm pretty certain that I will end up coming up with some more species that I can do and things I can do to make them different, because I think it's just a really fun little thing to add stuff like that. And obviously there's different kinds of dragons that I can pick from to make, and it's something that I definitely do want to come up with a new kind. I just don't know what at the minute. So yeah. Another question I got was, what inspired you to first make crystal dragons? There's a long version of the story and then there's a short version of the story. Basically, when I bought all of the stuff to do polymer clay, I did it with the intention of making dragons because I'd seen a video by Realms of Avalon on TikTok, and that was what started it all, that one video. And I was like, I want to make a dragon. I had no intention of it becoming a business or a job or anything like that. So I made that dragon that I just showed you and a couple of others, but I never put those on the shop, not for a long time. I started making the octopus and stuff like that, and that's what sold. So I started making stuff that was similar to those instead and never really thought about doing dragons again until I went to a market selling my stuff. And it wasn't the Christmas that's just been, it was the Christmas before. I was at a big Christmas market and there was a lady there selling crystals, and I bought a few for myself. I've still got them over there on my crystal like display thing, and I bought them with absolutely no intention of making anything out of them. I just bought them because I thought they were pretty and I wanted some stuff to decorate my room, so I got a few little bits and I didn't really think anything of it. But then it was coming up to Valentine's Day a couple months later, and I went to another craft fair and saw that there was a new person there selling crystals as well, and I got some stuff just because it was pretty. And then I wanted to make something for my boyfriend for Valentine's Day, and I remembered that one of the first ever videos that I watched by Realms of Avalon that gave me the idea of starting using polymer clay. I was sure that she used a crystal in it somehow. I couldn't remember which video it was or how to find it again, but I thought that I'd seen that, so I looked it up if they could go in the oven, crystals, and it said yeah. And I made two little crystal dragons for my boyfriend and I loved them. And then as soon as I figured out I could do that, then I started baking them for the shop, and obviously that's when the whole crystal thing started. And I'd like to think that's where a lot of like the success came from. Obviously I'd say that I'm known for my crystal dragons now. That's what my shop has become marketed around, and I love that because they're my favorite thing to make. And obviously it comes from such a cute place of me just buying the crystals and making a present for my boyfriend that's turned into all of this, so I do love that. And the next question is, what is your favorite crystal dragon you've ever made? Which I've just answered. I think it's that pink water one. Some others that I can think of off the top of my head though that are like up with my top few is the honey dragon. I loved that one. The Easter bucket dragons and all of the elements dragons that I did. I did a video on making both of those, the elements dragons and the Easter bucket dragons, if you want to watch those. They're two separate videos, but they're on my channel if you want to watch me making those. Okay, let's finish up this order. Okay, order number 4 is down, so I've only got 2 left to do now. The next order is for this beautiful white and gold fairy crystal dragon. This is my other favourite from the recent job. I just think it's so pretty. And she also got a £5 mystery bag. So in here She got a little top hat ghost and an orange flower keychain. So I'll wrap these up and put them back in the bag. Okay, the next person has asked a few questions. The first one is, how long does it take you to make these dragons? And it completely depends. I recently did a video that was how many dragons can I sculpt in an hour, and I managed to make 4, but they were all different kinds. Like some were more detailed than others and used more than one colour, so it really depends. And obviously then I was rushing to make as many as I could. Oops. But like the detailed themed ones like the honey one and stuff like that and the water one take me probably a few hours. The more plain and simple classic ones don't take me that long anymore. They probably take me around half an hour, maybe a little bit less. It all really just depends on what exactly I'm doing. I'm hoping I can get this and the mystery bag in this box as well. I should be able to. They also asked what kind of clay do I use and how much do the materials cost. The clay that I use is Fimo. I don't use Fimo Professional. I use Fimo Soft. The difference is Professional is just tougher, but I don't really have an issue with using the soft one. So I just use Fimo Soft and Fimo Effect, which are like the sparkly ones and stuff like that. That's the only brand of clay that I've ever tried. And in terms of how much do materials cost, it all varies obviously because of the crystals and also clay, depending on where I get it from and whether there's a sale on. The prices change quite a bit. The big block of white clay that I get, which is like this big, that doesn't last me that long really, depending on what I'm making, that can cost either £16 or sometimes it's like £12, and I've got no idea why the difference is on Amazon. And the crystals, obviously depending on where I get them from, is all completely different, and depending on what the crystal is, how rare it is. So I can't really put a price on how much the crystals are on average because it's all completely different, basically depending on what I'm wanting and where I get it from. I'm gonna have to fold this bag a little bit smaller so it fits perfect. And then we'll add a lot of shredded paper. And her last question was, what's your favorite gem and or dragon to make? My favorite gem or crystal is hands down labradorite. I think I've mentioned it a few times. I'm just obsessed with labradorite. I love it so much. So it was the first ever crystal that I used to make a crystal dragon with as well for my boyfriend. I have a labradorite bracelet as well that my boyfriend bought for me that I absolutely love. I have a big piece of labradorite on there and a few other smaller pieces. I love it so much. I'll show it you if you don't know what it is. You can get it in different colours, but it's black and it has flashes of really bright colours through it. I love the ones that are like blue and green. You can get some kinds that are purple, but I just love how this looks. It's not showing up brilliantly on here. In person it's super bright, but yeah, it changes to like such a bright blue in the light. It just looks magical, like I can't explain it. So that is hands down my favorite crystal. In terms of favorite dragon to make, I would say my favorite kind of dragon to make is the water dragons or the fairy dragons. I don't know why, I just absolutely love them. I think they're so fun to make and they always just end up looking quite pretty. So yeah, they're my favorite. This is the second to last one done, and now all we've got to pack up is this £10 mystery bag. And in here we have a pair of earrings. So these are the like juicy 3D strawberry earrings that I did a while ago. I absolutely love these. They're on little hoops, so I think they're really pretty and summery. And then we've also got another ghost bottle and a Lucky Dip octopus, which is really pretty like coffee brown colour. So I'll wrap these up while I'm answering the last question. And the last question isn't necessarily like a question that's been asked specifically for this video like other ones have. It's a question that I keep on getting asked and I just need to address it. Basically, I keep getting like comment after comment for like a tutorial on how to make the dragons. I get so many comments of people saying, how do you like specifically make this part? How do you specifically make the head? Where do you get your crystals from? I had somebody ask how much I price the dragons for because they want to sell their own and they want to know. And I want to be careful in how I word it so that it doesn't sound like I'm being nasty or selfish, because that's why I haven't really said anything, because I'm scared that it's going to come across that way. But like, this is my job, this is my business, it's how I make money, and I'm not going to give away every piece of information that tells somebody exactly how to replicate my art. I'm so scared of people thinking that I'm being nasty or selfish, and it's like an awkward thing to talk about. But when I first started the channel, I uploaded a video that was basically a tutorial on how to make a crystal dragon, and I don't know if it's from that video or just from my videos in general, because obviously if you want to replicate my dragons, you can do it. I put out videos of me making them, but specifically like that tutorial, I think it made it easy for a lot of people to replicate them, which is obviously expected because it was a tutorial. But then people started selling them, and you can tell that they've tried to copy mine. But there are quite a few different people out there that sculpt dragons with polymer clay. Obviously that's where I originally got my idea from, but if you look at Realms of Avalon's dragons, they're completely different to mine. Mine are my own style that I came up with from my own art and my own trial and error and practice. They're in my style. I feel like if you look at one of my dragons versus someone like Realms of Avalon's dragons, they're both completely different. You can tell which one's mine and which one's hers because they're in our personal styles. And I've seen quite a few different people, some people that like follow me that are selling dragons on like Etsy and stuff, and I don't know how to say it without sounding like, oh, they've copied me, you know what I mean? But you can tell that they've looked at mine and tried to replicate it from mine without making it their own. And I've had lovely people that have like made their own and credited me, tagged me in the things so that I can see it, and they've tried to make them similar to mine. And I love that. I love that people are making stuff and they're inspired by me. But when you're doing that and not doing it in your own way and then selling them, it's not come from your own art. I hope people aren't going to get mad at me for this, but I've seen it happen to so many other small businesses, and it's just not something that we should be doing. I think if you're going to create and sell art, it should be your own. People have literally just took the Stones, the exact designs that were mine, and are now replicating them and selling them and not crediting me or anything. And it's just kind of like a rubbish thing that happens. And I've had so many people comment saying, like I said, how do you specifically do this? Where do you get your crystals? How much should I price my own dragons? And I'm not saying nobody can make crystal dragons or anything like that. That's insane, I know. The whole reason I started any of this was because I saw a video of somebody putting crystals and dragons together. But my whole point is my crystal dragons are my crystal dragons. They're in my own art style. I think if you're gonna make art and sell it, then that art should be your own. I'm so scared this is gonna like sound like I'm being horrible. I hope you can understand what I mean, because I've seen it happen to so many other businesses where people will just copy and paste their stuff, and I don't want it to get to that point like it did with my worry stones and stuff, people just literally taking them and replicating them. So yeah, all of the people that keep asking me for a tutorial or all these like specific questions, that's why I'm not gonna tell everybody everything and how to do it, because of those people that will just copy what I'm doing and then sell it, if that makes sense, which I really hope that it does and I don't sound like I'm horrible. So yeah, that's my answer to all of those questions. And I understand that some people just want to make them for fun, and that's amazing. I love that. I did that workshop not long ago where I taught these girls how to make them, and we had such a nice time making them together. But it's the people that just try to pretty much replicate your stuff and then sell it as their own. There's the reason that I took down that tutorial, because this is my full-time job, you know, and the crystal dragons are my best sellers, so I've got to kind of protect that. Hi, it's Editing Jessie. I just wanted to quickly add something in here. I'm sorry for going on about that for so long. I think it's just because I've not said anything about it for a while, and then I want to explain it in a way that doesn't sound horrible. But anyway, one last little thing I want to say about that. A couple days ago, somebody even sent an Etsy shop to me because most of the products were just what I make, and it was one of my customers that sent me that. So I just wanted to put that in there so you know it's not just me being like dramatic, or it's just me that thinks people are copying or doing things that are way too similar, because now I've had other people find those for themselves and then send them to me because they think that I should know about it, because that's how similar it is. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in there so you don't think I'm being like dramatic or anything like that. Anyway, back to the orders. But anyway, I hope you don't don't all hate me now. I've just finished up packing up this order anyway, and I got to use one of the pink bubble mailers that I used all the time when I was sending little stuff off in Etsy. So yeah, this is the last order. I'm sorry it got a little bit like down there in the end with the questions, but we're done now. Here's everything that we've packed up today. Like I said, only one of these is going to the US, which means that the shipping label printing will be a lot faster than usual. Because if you don't know, you have to fill out like a customs declaration form for every single item that you send in abroad and out of the UK. So I only have to do that for one of these. So I'm going to go and print the shipping labels off, get all the fragile tape on and stuff like that, and then they'll be ready to get sent off. So I am going to do all that. I'm going to get out of the loft because it's absolutely boiling in England at the minute, because I just have the one window on the roof. Obviously, this room gets absolutely boiling and it's so uncomfortable up here now. So I'm going to go down and sort all of these out, but I'm gonna leave this video here. I hope you enjoyed, even though it was just me like rambling at you. And like I said, I'm so scared that people are gonna think I'm selfish or like big-headed for saying no to people asking for tutorials and stuff, but I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about it now. There are a few dragons left on the shop as of filming this from the shop, so if you want any, go check those out. It'll be linked in the description. Let me know if any of these orders are yours. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!